So we're gonna have 2 dudes pull the ropes at the same time, while 2 more dudes just bull rush and just shoulder tackle this bitch to the ground.
My boys put me on the shooter hunt. You gotta check this out, Mike. Mike, you gotta check this podcast out. So I gave it a listen. The episode I listened to was 38, and it was talking about murder bunnies. I'm sitting there on shrooms. Next thing you know, man, I'm put the fear in them bunnies' eyes, man. I ripped their hearts out. It was ferocious, but I was faster. I was quicker. I moved quick. I swift. Ate the souls, man. I ate the souls. Nothing was stopping Iron Mike. I'm crazy, and no one understands me but me. I'm not even a hunter, but sometimes I just listen to them. There is a reason Shoot the Hunt exists. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Mike out.
There's a reason Shoot the Hunt exists.
That intro.
Is it supposed to be Mike Tyson? I'm trying to.
It was Mike Tyson in his early days, before all the shrooms.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Before the philosophical Mike Tyson came
or before Jake Paul kicked his ass.
Yeah. So allegedly. Well, I think we got to get right to the nuts and bolts of this podcast. We have Tim Betts, Procision Arms.
I don't even know what the nuts is. We didn't even talk about this beforehand. What?
No. Betts.
First, I didn't even know there was a podcast today. And then Ryan walks in like, guess what? There's a podcast today.
The fuck you did? It's on the board.
He's like, well, I don't read the board.
Well, Tim was off and then he was on again because we couldn't fit schedules. But then I don't know. How'd you free up your schedule today, Tim?
Well, you changed the time on me.
He often does that to most of us. We just kind of.
I get a. He tells me it's 1:00, and then I get an email that it's noon, and I call him today, and I said, "Hey, is it noon or 1?" And he said, "No, it's at 1 my time, 4 your time." I was like, "Oh well, I could actually do it then."
That was actually Luke's fuck up because he didn't even send one to Brad. So that part of that isn't me, but it is very much me.
It's always you.
If you know me. Like I said, I don't know how to tell
people. If you know you, then you know that's
I
true.
don't value your time. I value my time.
On Instagram this morning, I was going to send you this reel, but it's like this, it's this Oriental guy that pops up and he's like, he was Indian. Don't let the work stress bother you. If you don't get it done today, don't worry, you can get it done tomorrow. And he's just going on and like, this must be Ryan's fucking mantra when he wakes up in the morning. Fuck everybody. This is your time, not their time. And that's a horrible fucking accent. I apologize for that, but you get the point. He's basically like, fuck everybody else. You're the most important thing in your life. Fuck work. Fuck deadlines. You don't need none of it. Just do you.
Well, I guess my only comeback was, would you want me to lie to you and say, yeah, I really care about your time when I don't?
I can just hear you waking up in the morning and then, your headphones are in and like that's how you get your day started. Fuck everybody.
Yeah. Fuck them. Tim, you're going to not want to be, we did Brad Brooks earlier today. Brad Brooks was on the podcast earlier today. And I think he was regretting it about 15 minutes in. He's like, what the fuck did I get into? Because my open it up was, what do you think about influencers?
So I'm going to be real naive. Who's Brad Brooks?
He owns our Golly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gotcha. Good guy. Yeah, it's like literally I have this discussion more often than not, but I had it very recently with a person and they were bitching about an influencer that had made them a lot of money. And I'm like, well, yeah, influencers, that is a dirty word in the industry, but they're good and bad. They're a needed, what do you call that? A needed issue or a needed
necessary
problem.
Hey, so before you get into your bullshit about mules, I'm going to ask a couple questions. Last time
you want to preface it.
Well, last time you kept saying, this is my last mule question. This is my last mule question. Then it never fucking ended.
You can ask a question, but it can't be about mules.
It will not be about mules.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So for the people from the horse's mouth or the mule's mouth, Tim, we've been talking about this Raven for a minute and a lot of people are inquiring and waiting. This is no shit. We've actually taken a couple builds with the first couple actions that literally don't exist.
That's awesome.
So guys are trying to get in line and I think maybe a good update from the horse's mouth might be good for the listeners.
Yeah. So we have material on order. We have fixtures on order. The material has actually been the hard part. It's very different than a lot of other receivers that are made, Remington 700 or otherwise. So we actually are basically having our own material spec'd out and made right from a mill, which is
Oh, shit.
it's a big process. The lead time is just ridiculous on it, but we have that done. We're waiting for it. We've actually sourced some small pieces that we're going to be making the demos out of. The same place was able to basically find an old. They must have made it at some point. It's just not a real common alloy, and so they
just
were
to be
able to
clear,
source
so
us a couple pieces.
You guys took a factory take action, had a metallurgist go after it, give you all the specs of the materials that it's made with, and then you're sourcing those materials.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, correct. And so while we wait on that, we've finished up with the design work, for all the, all the functioning parts, everything's done. I think the only thing design left is what's going to be the cutouts on the light version. Everything else is done. The enclosed version is done. We have fixtures on order. When those come in, we'll start production on the demos and the test ones, and then as soon as we get the regular material in, we'll start a full run.
Now, these fixtures that you set up, are those going to be dual purpose for the light and for the regular version?
Yeah, it's all the same. It's just basically the part that what we use to hold the metal as we make the product.
Okay. So if you were to provide some kind of basic timeline, what month are we looking at for prototypes, and then what month do you think moving in production?
Well, I still think we're going to be okay to get some prototypes on the ground this summer. Get the test ones out, the prototypes, and then probably sometime in the fall, early winter, we'll be able to start production as long as everything goes smoothly from the suppliers.
Okay. How many are we thinking for testers?
I think we're going to make around 20 is what we're thinking.
Okay.
Tim, all that matters is you send me one before you send one to form.
Oh, you get 0001 serial number.
Yep. I just want 0000.
We can do that. We'll give him like 10 or 11 or something.
And then or 00 fuck form.
I mean,
what it
just the flex.
Get so after it.
The motherfucker calls up and tells Kurt Roscoe.
Stone Glacier.
Not Rostacott or whatever you said. Rostacott.
That's how it's
He's
said.
Like, whatever you do, I don't remember what product it was, send it to me before you send it to fucking Ryan. And I was like, son of a bitch, game on. Yeah.
Well, you kind of have an inside track on this one then.
Yeah. I'm going to call Tim every day.
Or how about you make forms? How about you make forms say fuck form?
Oh yeah, that would even be better.
Action.
That'd be better.
That would be perfect.
But I want his real name on it.
Yeah. Real name.
That would
Don't
be hilarious.
say a word.
Just do it.
Or your second bitch, something like that.
Does he listen to these?
No, fuck no. But I guarantee you enough people will send the clip to him, because what happens, he gets mini clips of this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's funny.
It doesn't matter how it happens, as long as I have one in possession that I can send him a picture, and then his has something on it. Even if mine says, Ryan, you're gay, I don't really care, as long as it's first.
As long as it comes first.
Up afterwards,
I might just send it to Tanya instead.
I'll literally send him mine and go, I've been looking at my Raven. Oh, you don't have one? Oh.
Hey, so between us, then Tim, as the driver of this project, Ryan's is gonna have to say co-host.
Co-host.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Remember what mine said? El Conquistador.
Yeah.
What does that even mean to you?
Capture.
Well, the capturer?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you capturing?
The fucking hunting industry.
The conquistadors were kind of short, stocky,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he kind of fits that.
I hate
the French.
I
mean, he kind of
picture
fits
the
that.
helmet. There's a helmet going on here and like a little ship.
Yeah. Dude, you've seen, like, to get this into the Mule subject.
Oh, Lord.
You've seen Lord Farquaad on Shrek?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's like got little legs and his fake legs hanging down.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that sometimes on the Mule that we bought. And like picked me up and I got these little tiny legs coming down.
It's funny you feel like that because you look like that too.
I do. I have no qualms with that. You know why? Because I ain't walking.
Oh my goodness. This is off to a good
Tim, we're sorry to lead you on our, internal debates.
So we're looking
all
at,
good.
just to confirm for the people, we're looking at getting testers in the summer for a winter release.
I think that's pretty fair, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And Ryan's first. That's what I heard.
Co-host.
I don't care if it says co-host, whatever.
Co-host and fuck form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
it might not be
First
bad
week's
to do SHOT Show in January.
Hey,
now
now
you're actually thinking smart, because
that sounds good.
We had this exact same conversation about another product that it takes time. You got to educate the consumer.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, this is such a unique new project, and we want to make sure we nail it.
Yep.
So
I agree, and I think it'll be a real awesome product where you do not have to buy the whole Tika. You can buy a Raven, you can buy the lightened version, you can buy the regular version, and you're into a Tika basically.
And definitely requires a good amount of field testing prior to. So
that's the thing is we can't rush things. It's got to be right.
Well, we'll line up some 6UMs then and start hitting it hard.
I think that's the first one I'm making.
There you go.
For me.
This is why I love Tim.
Hey, they're doing another run of brass, Tim. And he just Marlon just called me. They're moving that up.
He said September?
No, they're moving it up.
Like
July-ish.
Yeah.
Like he just called me. So
yeah. So Tim, you get another 50.
We'll get you another.
I just gotta beg and borrow and steal
on
for
it.
50 pieces at a time.
There you go. We'll get you one more box of 50 on this new run.
All you got to tell us is we're not 7 any Ravens till I get some more brass.
There you go. Hold them motherfuckers hostage.
That's a great idea.
Okay, we have a debate.
Well, maybe let him talk about his business a little bit. Maybe he's got some shit going on he wants to talk about.
I mean, there's not. It's pretty much status quo here. We're building rifles.
You are the color commentator. You don't direct this shit.
All right, I'm gonna step back into my co-host seat.
We are gonna get to Tim. Sorry, okay. Tim. We're being rude to our guest.
Ryan's being selfish.
Please tell us about 2 things. Actually, I went out and I saw Tim when I was out there training up with some mules, that are very interesting. I thought you were lying to me about your horse racing thing, but I figured out full stop you are not. So tell us about Procision Arms. And tell us about Betts Horse Racing, or Betts, whatever you call that company. Betts something. It's got a big ass B and red star. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Horse racing.
Yeah.
So tell us about both of them.
Procision, we are literally full bore. Just we got, all kind of stuff going on production wise, new products, kind of doing some R&D on a bunch of things. We just hired another guy. We're probably going to try to hire another guy here later this summer. We're going to need one. We picked up, I think I told you guys, we picked up a Swiss machine. So we're doing some Swiss parts now. And that was kind of the Ravens actually what necessitated that. Because we have to essentially make all these parts.
Swiss, man, when you get ready with those Tika bolts we talked about, I'm ready for that too.
Yeah, that's going on.
Those.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things we're working on right now. We're just same thing.
Good order of those when you're ready.
We're waiting on those. We're just waiting on the metal too.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the same deal. Like the actual alloy and the metal doesn't exist. You just can't go buy it. Okay. So yeah, that's been the hardest part. Is just all the R&D and all the all the time and effort we put into just making sure we actually have it right the first time. So we've been just checking and rechecking and kind of going over it just to make sure it's right. And our goal is to hit it right the first time.
Hell yeah!
So all kind of cool stuff going on though. It's pretty busy. We didn't make it into the shop when you were out here, did we? Did we, Ryan?
No, we were too
busy playing with mules.
Yeah, horses and mules.
Yeah. We had grand intention.
Mm-hmm.
How's your gunsmith doing?
He's down 75 pounds.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you should I sent you a picture of him the other day, I think.
Yep.
So it's actually your 2 fault that he lost weight. He met at the shop, met you guys at the SHOT Show. We made him drive home from Vegas. He drove our booth home from Vegas, and he listened to your podcast like all the way home, and he listened to the carnivore podcast. Got on the carnivore diet like the day after he got home, and he's lost. He told me the other day he's down 75 or 76 pounds or something. He's like a new man.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that race might get interesting next year.
Oh yeah. So next year is how old Mason? Can he go to the SHOT Show next year?
Yeah, 16.
Oh yeah. So next year at the SHOT Show, down on the bottom floor, me, Jimmy, and Mason are running a 40.
Oh fuck!
And we're not telling nobody. We're gonna knock people over.
Man, motherfucker, you ain't sprinted since you were 23.
Dude, I sprint to the fridge every day. So next.
You may
so,
think that's a
dude,
sprint, but it's really not.
It's going to be the 40.
When you're alone in the house
Yeah.
and you start moving as fast as you think you can move to the fridge, that don't mean it's a sprint.
No, it is, dude.
No.
Yeah, because I build up a sweat. So I know it's a
that
sprint.
also don't mean it's a sprint.
So listen, if I build up a fucking sweat, I'm sprinting.
It's like a slow motion fucking video.
You ever see Jack? That reminds me of Jackass.
Have you ever seen Sasquatch walk through the fucking woods?
Yeah, dude.
How the arms swing real slow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you sprinting.
But that's like slow motion. Have you ever seen Jackass when they have the midget and the great big fat guy running through the store?
Yes.
That's what the 40 is going to look like.
That's fucking hilarious.
So it's going to be called Tons of Fun 40.
Tons of fun 40.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So I want to, on that whole thing where you said Jimmy was driving, tell us how he drove all the way from Pennsylvania to Las Vegas and he doesn't know how to fucking back up a trailer.
Yeah, he didn't tell us that till he was en route. By the way,
dude, that's something that's not easily learned.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, he had a guy. His buddy went with him, and his buddy had a CDL, and could do anything.
Okay.
So I wasn't worried at that point, but he neglected to let me know prior to that.
Gotcha.
That's funny.
That's very interesting. Okay, so are we got any more parts and pieces? You do OEM work also, right?
We do. So marking variances, or any various parts, any type of machining. I mean, we're actually doing some non-firearms parts here and there. So we're doing all kind of stuff there.
Enhance your shooting experience with Stocky Stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. Stocky Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with Stocky Stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with Stocky Stocks.
Interesting. You guys are going to have, I think you're going to be spooled up and real busy pretty soon. I always laughed at Jake. Me and you've had this conversation, Tim. Jake's like, I'm going to stay under 8 weeks. And I had to laugh because it's just not how the gun industry
Well, the
works.
only thing he's going to have to do is just make Ravens. Ravens and bolts are going to consume your fucking life.
Pretty much nothing else happens at fucking Ravens and bolt.
And I mean, if you're really selling that many, does it really matter what you're doing?
No, I'm cool. If we build enough Ravens and bolts that all I do is build those and go hunting, I'm real happy with that.
Fuck yeah. Sounds like a good life.
Yeah,
Yes.
I could live with that.
Yes. But we did find out talking when I was there that there is no amount of money that would make Tim's wife quit her job because she loves it.
What'd she do?
So don't let her trick you anymore. Make sure
I've been trying.
I gotta hear what this fucking job is.
What does your wife do, Tim?
So my wife is a heart failure and transplant cardiologist. So basically, she would be the person if you have a really bad heart and you need a transplant or you're going to need a transplant at some point. She kind of bridges the gap between, being really sick. She doesn't actually do the surgeries, but she'll do the casts and everything prior up to that. And then she takes care of you afterwards.
Don't worry, Jake.
Very
You'll
specialized
meet her
job.
on those steroids. You'll meet her.
That would be a liver problem. We would need some liver help.
Broke spot.
Yeah. My heart actually, I tell you, so I went and did Canfield, and I haven't done Canfield since being on sauce. And
to the top?
No, I didn't make it to the top. Almost though. Oh wait, I went to 1,200 feet.
Okay.
I did 1,200 feet in 58 minutes. But the interesting part is my heart rate used to get up to 180.
Yeah.
It did not go above 149.
Motherfucker quit on you.
It's like it was like doing the work with 2/3 of a heart.
Yeah.
So I guess that's pretty good then. But it was really weird that it won't let it go like a beat faster than that. And my blood pressure is basically back to normal. So it's not that.
What was it?
What do you mean?
What was your blood pressure?
All the way up to 214, 130, something like that.
Yeah. She's in the office. You need a quick consult? I could call her real quick
We're
and
working back
get
to
a quick
normal though.
consult
Like
for you.
I'm down. I don't imagine I'm
I
at the
see her, the reflection of her. She's out there.
yeah.
Or is that Avery?
She just walked. That was both.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, they both just
Stop
walked
your
by.
gun sake. You see the reflection of them coming in and out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's get into horse racing. I thought you made this thing up where your horses run with a buggy behind them, basically. Like, think about a slimmed down Chariots of Fire.
I just pictured you on the back of one of those fucking
I
with your
tried.
fucking conquistador outfit on, dude, with like some red ruffles and shit. You got a whip on. You could barely see over the horse's ass, even on your cart.
I'd have a booster.
Got to get him a booster seat.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, Tim, we're really cutting you off here. Go ahead.
No. We tried to get him behind one, Jake, but he
Tanya
couldn't
wouldn't drag me around with one.
No, yeah, we tried to get Tanya to pull him around with one, and then he didn't get out of bed early enough to get there while the track was still open, so we couldn't get him behind a horse. I think it was planned.
I would try it.
It's a lot of fun. It's
So
actually if you're not really real comfortable riding, it is easier to drive, I think. Just because you're lower to the ground, and it's a little intimidating be standing directly behind a horse or sitting directly behind them where they could kick you. But you do feel safer driving one than you do riding.
So how fast are they going?
Upper 30 to 40 miles an hour is like top speed.
Lord.
They race 1 mile. That what you said?
Yeah, so they're called standard breds because the standard is 1 mile. So they all race 1 mile. Thoroughbreds will race various distances. Standard breds pretty much only race a mile.
And what's a fast mile on a horse?
The world record right now is like a minute and 46 seconds.
Jesus. Have you done a lot of that? Have you rode on a lot of those?
I've driven a bunch. Yeah, I used to do it.
Yeah.
I used to do it every day. When we had a big operation, I was in the barn every day, and I went out on the track every day. I don't as much anymore, just because I've been too busy going back and forth, and with the pharmacy, and with the gun company and everything else. I'm scattered all over the place.
Huh. Where do you go? Can people you make your money? The money's made on betting, right?
So for the people that own the horses, there's purse money. So
okay.
You pick a race, you enter the race, and there's a purse attached to it. And then the winner gets half, second place gets 25%, third place gets 12, fourth gets 8, fifth gets 5%, and then everybody else goes home and try again next week.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Then you get kickbacks from the bets somehow?
So the betting is controlled by the actual racetracks in the state.
Yeah.
So the state takes a piece, the racetracks take a piece, and then the purse account gets money from that as well. So a piece of everything that's bet on the races goes in to help fund the purses for the racing.
And what's the most money you've made on a horse in its lifetime?
Well, that one that you saw at the barn there, he's made just over 300,000. I only own a small piece of him, but he's a pretty nice horse.
What did the horse cost to buy?
A friend and partner of mine raised him, so we actually didn't buy that one. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is we were at his father-in-law's house, and we're sitting out on his back deck, and I look up at this horse. There's a picture of this horse above the deck, and I was like, "That's kind of weird." And then later on, that Chester had bought into that horse, right? That's how it went down to him. And that horse paid for his deck because it was winning.
Oh, nice! It was a dedication.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. The horse paid for the deck. It was pretty cool. So he took a picture, printed it out, and put it up above his TV on his outdoor deck.
Yes, a nice enclosed, all wooden, tongue and groove deck is nice, enclosed tongue and groove. Pretty slick.
Yeah, that's actually that same horse is the one that we take hunting now. So
really?
we sold him, and then he bounced around, got hurt, and my friend John that I hunt with a lot, the girls that work for him took him back as a pet, and we needed a horse to go hunting, and we just drug him along, and he's actually turned into be a pretty good mountain horse.
That's freaking awesome.
His name Bells and Whistles.
Bells and Whistles is his name.
Bells and Whistles.
What was funny is when I asked him sitting on the deck, Neither one remembered the horse's name. His wife come out and said, "Bells and whistles."
Couldn't remember.
She must have been the one that wanted the deck.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so.
I'm terrible at that. We go through a lot of horses racing over the years, and we buy and sell and all the time, and I can't remember names of them to save my life. But
well, on that note, I told you, already told Tim this. We got into a conversation about I had a mule, and I don't know if it was Mason or you that said, "I bet you, me and Mason could run and tip over your mule."
It all started as a discussion talking about sewing up a mule.
Yeah, which Tim thinks is hilarious.
Which you wouldn't probably want to sew up a mule while it was standing up. So you'd probably want to get it to the ground and then hold it down while you sewed it, right?
Yes.
So then basically we're all sitting here at the table and we're coming up with a plan to tackle the mule to the ground.
I said, no fucking way.
I was like, what we need to do is tie ropes to the opposite side legs. So you're staring at the side of the mule and maybe the head's on the right and Ryan's managing the head over here. We got a rope tied to each offside leg. So we're gonna have two dudes pull the ropes at the same time while two more dudes just bull rush and just shoulder tackle this bitch to the ground.
100% not how that conversation went down.
Yes.
There was no ropes involved.
Yes, there was.
Until I reassured you that there's no way you and Mason, even if I'm holding the head, because you were going to double leg takedown.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess okay. How about I'll rephrase this. This was the finished proposal. Okay. The finished one started off. We're just going to tackle them, and then the finished proposal was that was the complete idea.
Okay, I could maybe Tim. What do you think?
With ropes, you could get them down. You're not going to hold them. You can actually hold a horse down if you get them down. Actually, you just once they're down, if you sit on their head and neck, they can't get up. If you're big enough.
Yeah,
most of them.
That would be Ryan's job. So he's got the head going on. He's going to straddle the neck and hold the head and pet her. Right? We're going to sew up the leg. That was the plan.
Yeah, but they'd be kicking your brains out if you tried that.
I just picture them trying to grab both legs on Buttercup and lift and just sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg.
She about kicked me in the head putting hobbles on her.
She has kicked somebody in the head and knocked them clean out. But yeah. So why can't we sell like Jake's question is a question that I don't know either, and it was very interesting. Why can't you suture up a horse or a mule in the field?
Well, you can. If you had sedation, you could. And depending on how deep it is, right? If it's just superficial and you're gonna, sedate them pretty heavily and do it, you're okay. But without sedation, I mean, they're prey animals, right? So they're just reacting to pain, and most of them will just freak out. If you start poking them with another needle, a lot of them aren't going to tolerate it. But if you knock them out, then they'll stand there. That I was telling you about dorm gel you put underneath their tongue. That's what you need for that.
What I gave to Buttercup to shoe her.
Yeah, that'll work. And then, honestly, instead of suturing, they actually make the staple guns, the sterile staple guns for skin staples.
Yep.
And I actually keep one in my trailer just for that reason. Or if we're going really far in, I just throw it in my little equine first aid kit. And that way, if you do get a bad cut, I can give them a little dorm gel and staple them together enough to get you home and get it cleaned up the right way and get it sutured back together.
Like, we ought to tell them your 40th job. You're also an equine pharmacist, correct?
Yeah. I grew up. My dad was a racetrack vet. I worked for him for years. And then I got out of school, went to pharmacy school, and now I do compounding pharmacy, but mostly equine, some human.
Did you ever get into that Special K game when that was popular?
No, so we don't really do any controlled substances, thankfully. So the company I worked for the first company I worked for didn't do any controlled substances, and the company I work for now does very little. So it's just not but that's a big deal in the vet world. All these drugs, the drug dealers and drug addicts keep taking vet drugs and cutting them into human drugs or, illicit drugs. And it's constantly getting banned. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He also has some of that in his saddlebag.
It just, that's when you can't sleep.
That's the shit.
The way Ryan snores, you might need that to knock you out.
What's that?
The way you snore, might need that to knock yourself out on the mountain.
Oh, you think I snore? The professional grade is right there.
When did I start taking Ambien in the tent?
Dude, when we
You're going to suffer.
We're at the bear hunting course, and he was 6 apartment rooms away, and I could fucking hear him snoring.
That's
All I
good shit.
know is when we were hunting, you were 50, 75 yards away, and I had earplugs in and could hear you.
There you go. It ain't just me. See?
I can't. I usually want to win at everything.
Yeah.
I can't beat you at that.
When I tell my wife, I tell her this all the time. She says something about snoring. I said, I never hear myself snore.
Do you wake up though and your throat hurts?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there are times I'll wake up, my mouth feels like the fucking Sahara Desert.
Really?
That's when I know it was bad.
I can't. I stayed at your house. Did you hear me snoring at your house, Tim?
No, but we were up late. I was passed out.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I could hear. I bet you money we could hear Jake snoring. Yep.
Just wake
We'll
you right
find
up.
out.
Oh, he's a professional grade snorer. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I got you here, and you're kind of my mule confidant that I talk to a lot. You talk me off the ledge on lots of things, but you're a guy that's been around horses, been around mules. Why do you choose mules to hunt in the backcountry?
That's a good question. Just got exposed to one really good one kind of early on in hunting. And I've been around horses my whole life, and horses are much more reactive compared to the average mule. I mean, there's bad mules out there, but a good mule is much less reactive and kind of better suited for hunting. I mean, when we go, usually we've been taking 2 mules and 1 horse, and the mules they're tougher, they drink less water, they eat less feed, they hold their weight better. The horse, they just seem to be better mountain hunting animals overall for me. I think it's just a combination of factors, really. But really good horses are really good horses. There's no shame if you got one that's good.
And those standard breds, which I didn't know that you race, there's not a lot of them that you thought would be. I don't know this as a fact, so I'm just putting this out there. Would be good as mountain horses.
I think more than thoroughbreds. Thoroughbreds are usually the ones you ride on. Like the Kentucky Derby horses. They're usually just batshit crazy. Very few of them would ever do for hunting. I would say a good percentage of standardbreds probably could do it. They have a much better temperament. I mean, you saw. I mean, you could walk right in the stall with them, pet. Pretty much do anything. And I mean, we've taken ones that have never been ridden, never had a saddle in their life, just been driven their whole life, and you can throw a saddle on or jump on a bareback and ride them. They look at you funny for the first couple minutes, but they know how to steer, and they know, they just have great personalities.
Interesting. Are you going to try more?
Not all of them. What's that?
Are you going to try more of those out?
I got one now. If I can't find another mule, I'm gonna take hunting here this September.
Well, fuck, it'd be like a steady supply for you.
Just picking one out. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have them no end to it. Like a fucking mule just sold. I don't think I told you this, Jake. At the Chrome in the Canyon, a mule sold for $90,000.
Lord.
That's what I said.
Does it do everything by itself?
Some bitch better give me hand jobs.
No shit. Tim, how long you been hunting with mules or horses in the backcountry? How many years?
I think the first time that I took mine was 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And then before that, I've been on some hunts with either rental horses or went on a couple outfitted horse hunts, that kind of thing. So I don't know, probably 8, 9 years total.
And would you consider yourself an experienced backcountry mule hunter?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, there's guys that do it every day, outfitters and stuff. I'm like how do I make this as efficient as possible? Because I'm hunting first, and using the mules or horses is like a part of the hunting. So, I don't want to say they're not secondary, because they can't be secondary. You have to take care of them, before yourself, really. But I'm using them as a means to an end to go hunting, basically. And I mean, I love horses. I love my mules. I got, Ryan's seen my big pain in the ass one in person a couple times, and he's a giant pain. He's not easy.
I asked you because I've been trying to figure out. So Ryan's been doing mule things now for
year and a half
or so, right? And I see him, and he's putting all this effort in. He's reading books. He's interviewing people. He's calling everybody he fucking knows. He's going to classes. He's got his mules kicking fucking vets at his house and shit. And he's doing all this mule stuff. It's like It's like it's consuming his life. And I don't think he knows what he's doing yet. And I'm just trying to figure out like what type of investment is this really for the beginner, right? This beginner decides, oh, Ryan's fucking doing mules. I want to do mules too, right? And you get in like myself, let's say I get into it. And like that's a big fucking commitment if you're going to tell yourself, I'm really not even going to know what I'm doing for 3 years of doing this.
I would say more than that.
More than that. You put a lot of you really have put a lot of effort into it.
I am not a
probably more effort into that. The only thing that would supersede it would be hunting itself.
It is, and it's because of the hunting. But before Tim answers, I have to do all the cheat codes. And I've talked to Tim about this. I have to go to see Leon, who is a great trainer. I have to pick Tim's brains. I got to pick all these brains. I need every cheat code for a learning curve because I'm 48 years old and I'm just getting into it.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, it's very expensive, but I see the future and where I want to be. I cannot physically get there and pack an elk out. I could walk in there.
Yeah.
I could shoot an elk, but I'm never going to get that fucking bull elk out of it.
You're not ready for that yet.
No. I'm going to do it this year with what I'm saying. I couldn't walk in and physically walk out with an elk.
Yes.
I have to have a livestock of some sort.
Yeah.
And to me, it was goats, and they keep doing what, all of the government bullshit they're doing with the goats and banning. Mule was the logical next step. I hate llamas. They'd kill you if they could.
I mean, at this point, though, are you confident yourself taking 2 of your mules into the backcountry by yourself and getting shit done?
No, but I'm going to do it.
Still not there.
No, I'm confident that I can tie shit onto them. I'm not confident in the riding, and I'm just going to have to ride my ass off for the next couple of years to figure it out. Tim, how would you answer that?
No, it's a lifestyle, right? Like it's not there's not a casual horse owner, right? That's especially just starting out, unless you're going to go and, hey, I'm going to go take lessons and I'm going to go play around on a dead broke lesson horse and ride around in a ring. But if you're going to go and jump on a mule and, ride it 15 miles into a wilderness, that's just an entirely different ball of wax, right?
Yeah,
so it's a big commitment.
It's a lifestyle.
It is.
Yeah, it's like hunting in general.
It is.
You're going to get out of hunting what you put into it.
It is. And I am probably 50 grand into this, I bet.
It's nuts. Well, I don't want to say it's nuts. You're using the mules as a tool to continue staying in the game, basically.
Yep.
But I guess the reason I brought this up is it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the uncommitted. So, for example, the other day I got a little hair up my ass. I was doing research and I was like, I'm going to buy an ultralight.
A fucking glider?
A glider, like a single person. So a single person fucking glider.
Robbie,
I read all the rules.
Robbie has one if you want to talk.
I read it all. Like I'm gonna they're really not that expensive. You could even build your own, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna get into this shit. And then when we want to do a little bit of scouting, we're gonna fucking drive it over somewhere and I'm gonna fly it around that area.
What Robbie got it for.
There you go. So I get all fired up about it. By the time I got done with all my research, I'm like, you know what? This is not for the guy that's going to fly once every 3 months, like when I might have some time or when the weather might be good, right? And that it really requires, because they even say, even though it's not required to have training, it said you should go to training, you should do this, you should do this. I was like, I'm not ready to make that commitment. Like, I just don't. And I guess so.
What does a glider cost?
Dude, there's like kits for like 15 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can put it together yourself. You can go the other end to where it actually looks like an airplane and shit, and it still meets. So it's got to be under 5-gallon fuel capacity, under a certain amount of weight, the plane by itself. Under, there's like levels you can't go over because then it's not an ultralight anymore. But it's mainly the fuel capacity. You can put higher horsepower engines and shit if you want heavier payloads, but then you consume your 5 gallons too fast. So there's like a balancing act.
So they throttle it down by the gas tank size.
Exactly. So they control you at 5 gallons. I don't know. There's probably ways around that shit. Like I'm gonna hide some fuel in the wing or some shit, right? Like, but those are the limitations to stay within the no pilot license required. And I was like, fuck, that might be kind of cool. Let me go ahead and read about that.
I'd be curious to see what kills you first, trying to tackle Buttercup or flying an ultralight.
Or just jumping in this little fucking airplane and getting after it,
Good question.
But okay, the only reason I brought it up is because at the end of it, I was like, I'm not ready for a commitment like that. It'd be like a mule. Like you can get all fired up, like, and I'm going to try the mule thing. And I just want people to know that this is not.
Dude, it's especially if you don't have, what's so weird is I know so many people in the hunting industry. I don't know anybody by me that I hunt with or that is in my friend group that does it. Right? And it's so weird to me that they don't, but it is, like Tim said, it's a fucking lifestyle. And I see that now. And it's like, but does the end goal, which I know there's places that I want to hunt, that there is no other way. that will bring me very good, success on the elk front.
Well, how about just renting a couple mules at that point?
Tim, I talked to Tim about that actually at the beginning. I don't know if you remember that, Tim. And you had done that, and then you talked me out of it, kind of.
Well,
If
there's
you had a
not that
trusted
many
source.
options. Well,
Yeah,
there's
so
just
there's
not many options, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
probably not
couple
the
places
best.
in Colorado. Yeah, there's a couple places in Colorado, and mixed results, and you hear horror stories. And we ran into a guy a couple years ago in Wyoming on the trail that they had rental horses, and one was they couldn't catch it. It was just following them around because it didn't want to leave its buddies, but they couldn't catch it the whole week. So you lose that horse, you got to pay the outfitter. So I don't know. It's one of those things where if you're really serious about it, you really want to do it. I think it is better to have your own, but it's just a big commitment.
It is, and it's now what I know is I've had goats and I've had llamas. I haven't had llamas, but I've used llamas a lot. I could teach anybody, you've seen it, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you could use a goat or a llama. Ain't fucking happening with a mule.
Mm.
It's not happening. You'd have to know too much. They're too strong. They're too big. You got to be able to tie shit on that stays on. They can't flip out or they could fuck you up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Question of the week. Powered by ADG.
How much neck tension? Too much.
Too much neck tension is when you deform your bullet or you deform your shell when you're seating your bullet. That's too much neck tension. Otherwise, I don't think you can have too much neck tension.
Yeah, and I think too, I mean, it's enjoyable hunting with them. It's just like having another buddy there. Like the mules and horses have really cool personalities, most of them, and it just it's actually enjoyable. I think it's very different than doing hunts without them. But like Ryan
Would you compare a mule personality to a dog, a good dog?
Some of them have really good personalities. Buttercup kind of has that personality. That Peaches mule I has kind of has that personality. Easy hates everybody. He's like the dog that doesn't like people.
He's easy's about easy.
Yeah, he's all about himself. But it's one of those things where once you have them on elk hunts, it's really hard to go back to wanting to pack elk out on your back.
We were, where we were.
Yeah.
We were 7 miles in, and one mule brought all of Form's elk out.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty badass.
Damn, that's hard to do.
Didn't bat an eye.
Didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, that's the nice part. I mean, you can bone one out, throw it on a mule, and walk it out. It's great.
In a steep spot, she did chuck Form into a tree. But me and Tim saw it coming, so we got speed. And I just threw the lead up, and they got to get speed in a steep spot to get their momentum going to get up it. Well, Form thought he could
you're kind of just leaning forward and holding on to the neck?
No, I lead it, and I just, we were pulling, we were dragging him. Like, we were walking out with them on lead. And I just threw my lead around the tree and went the other way, because I saw what Tim did. Steep, icy, slick, and a bunch of horses already came down.
Okay, so the mule is behind you.
Mule's behind you.
He's about to run right up your ass.
Just like you're walking a llama.
Okay.
And there's a tree on the right side that we had to go up and around. Well, I just threw my lead around the tree for Buttercup to get her a run. Well, I look back, and Form's just same speed, and Carrots went to get her speed and just jammed him against the ponderosa pine so hard that I found out the other day. I heard him go, ugh! He broke the damn stock, the wooden rock stock. She broke it when they slammed it together, and he didn't know till like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, it's just like that kind of shit can happen, and you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, that's the lesson you learn the hard way, and then you don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I felt bad for him because it did knock the wind out of him. And
well, you knew it was coming.
Well, I watched Tim go around it, and Tim was very smart and got the hell out of the way. So, and Easy and Buttercup are big mules. It's like, well, I am not getting in her way. So I just threw her lead around the tree and then walked up and grabbed it while she got her run.
Yeah.
Form just tried the same pace. He kind of went up there and she just pinned him against the tree. Yeah. Bad shit.
Yeah, everything else went pretty smooth though. Other we spun a couple pack saddles.
Yeah, we did spin, and that's another thing about having guys yours, Luke's, Tim's sizes. I don't know how we had a top pack up on Buttercup, and it kept making the saddle spin because it was off balance. And shit, man, being tall helps in that situation big time.
It doesn't hurt.
No, we were yelling at Luke to get up there and help Tim because me and Form were not that tall. So.
Well, they have those little collapsible little step stools. You kind of just
Stumps.
tie it to the outside.
There's one that Tim sent me where they have a guy tied up. You know those little rope ladders,
Yeah.
and they have wooden dowels in there.
Yeah.
He just tied it up to the horn and popped it and goes.
Watching Ryan get on Buttercup, just hilarious. You know, it's
Give me
like
a boost.
it's like
She's a
climbing
monster.
Give me a boost.
Well, think about it, Tim. You're what? 6'2",
6'3", yeah.
6'3". He easy. They're about similar height. He's trying to find a low spot to get on him. My 5'8" ass fucking trying to get on her. It's not good. Not good. Although Leon did teach her, I can go like, and she'll saddle up to a stump or whatever. She's getting pretty good at it.
Yeah. See, mine doesn't have that trick. He just spins in circles, tries to get away from you. Yeah. Yeah. You got it made.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, I think the dividends are here to come now. We'll see. Over the next 2 years, I'm going to learn whether I'm into it or this ain't my thing. I think that's how it's going to go.
Are you gonna actually keep a mule now? Or are you gonna keep passing them on?
No, I can't get. The guy that's training Buttercup keeps wanting to buy him, and Tanya will not let it happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is like if unfortunately in the Avery household, it's hard to get rid of something once Tanya sees it and gets around it. And Buttercup is very a friendly mule. A lot of them are not. Carrots doesn't give a shit if you died or not. She'd probably be the one that actually could kill you. Buttercup is more of a dog, wants to be around you, like a 1,100-pound lap dog.
Yeah, she's a little too comfortable.
She is. Yeah, Leon said he had to break her of that because she likes to be right next to you.
Yeah.
And she kept throwing her ass to me, and I don't know shit about mules. Like she put her butt right there, and you're like, oh, she's gonna fucking kick me. Nope. She wants her butt scratched. Yeah, but to a novice person, I think I'm gonna get my fucking head kicked in.
I thought you have a second one now.
We have Carrots. I'm looking for one more.
Looking for one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to convert him over to gated ones, but
yeah, the faster ones. There's also gated mules. They roll out faster.
I don't think you need to go faster.
I told Tim I want to go slow as possible at first in a straight line.
Yes.
Tim's got
you a big girl.
Tim's got gated ones. Well, Tim, I got to ask you because you're also a 6UM aficionado.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bias, the customer here, but can you kind of go through what you've seen, what you've done with it? You've shot a really good freaking mule deer with one. Kind of take us why you got into it and what you're doing with it now.
Yeah, I've kind of come full circle in my rifle. You know, I started out, I think I had a 25-06. It was actually my first gun was a Tikka 25-06. And then I don't know why I decided that I needed a 14-pound 260 Remington. And I actually carried that around Montana for a couple of years. And I'm like, man, this is like, it was a great gun. It shot great, but it was just so heavy. So then I built a 338 Norma, all carbon fiber, all titanium, weighed like 6.5 pounds without a scope. And it was borderline not shootable. I killed some stuff with it, but it was just brutal to shoot. Sold that. And then I kind of bounced around and it couldn't really find anything I like. And I think you and I were talking about it. And I was like, man, it makes sense, right? The ballistics on it are the ballistics of, a big Magnum. Short of getting into the big 338s, the ballistics are identical. I just looked at this the other day because we had a customer who was debating on building one versus something else, and you run the numbers. It's ballistically equivalent to a hot rodded 300 Win Mag with 212 ELDXs. It has less drop and the same amount of wind drift, and it's like it kicks half as much or less. Yeah, it's just a no brainer. And then started seeing some of the performance with that DTAC, and I'm like, man, I got to try this. And I think we shot first year, we shot 2 or 3 elk with it, 2 mule deer. And then this past year, I didn't really have it much in the way of tags. But my father-in-law shot that mule deer in Montana with it. And then he decided he had to build one after that. So, so I don't know, everybody that sees it and shoots it pretty much ends up buying one.
Yeah. You shot that. Can you talk about that buck you shot in New Mexico?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a cool deer. I had drawn a really good tag in New Mexico, kind of a late season rifle tag, and got there. And the day before the season, we turned up a really big deer, and I just, we couldn't, I was there with a couple buddies and didn't turn him up again till the 6th day, 7th day. I'd seen him once or twice, snowstorm blew in. And I mean, we hunted daylight to dark trying to turn this deer up again. And then hilariously enough, we pulled back in the same spot. We saw him from the road the first day. He was chasing does, like plain as day, 500 yards from the road. Well, he hunted him. We saw him 2 or 3 canyons over. We didn't see him for a couple of days. Like day 6 or day 7, we decided to show back up, and we pulled in the exact same place we saw him. And he was standing the first day we saw him getting naked eyes from the road. And he chased the doe kind of back in this, back in this cut, and hiked in a little bit and shot him at 550 with the 6UM.
And the DTAC is kind of icing on the cake. And are you primarily shooting the 115 DTAC, the nose ring?
I've been mostly shooting that. I shot a couple deer and a couple elk with the 108s when I first built the 6UM, and had great luck with it. I think the 115s, you get a little better BC. They shot better out of my gun than the 108s, but I didn't spend a lot of time loading. I was just kind of haphazardly throwing things together. But the DTAC, the only thing I would say that I noticed is, and I think I actually posted pictures of Rockslide of 1 or 2 deer that I shot with it. The DTAC definitely doesn't have the rapid expansion that an ELDM or ELDX does. But if you start cutting deer open, the onside lung has a hole in it, and then the heart and offside lung and offside shoulder are just grenaded, which I think in an elk is perfect. At deer, it hasn't mattered. But if you're a guy that worried about that kind of thing, I don't know if the DTAC is the best solution for shooting your small animals. Like, I don't know. I think it would probably punch through a coyote. I haven't shot one yet, but for elk and deer, I think they've been fantastic.
Yeah, the thinner side, the thinner animals is still. I've shot an axis deer and I shot a whitetail. I haven't shot a bear with a DTAC, and they all died. But you're right; it's not quite as dramatic as an elk or African animals or a nilgai. They're pretty dramatic in the thicker animals.
If you shoot them in the point of the shoulder, it's pretty dramatic. You're not. There's no shoulder left, but
I talk 6UMs every day, and a lot of people don't know that you're in Western PA by Ohio border. You guys make 6UMs all the time. You have the reamer, you have the brass. You also make full, obviously complete rifles too.
Yep.
And you guys can pretty much call you up Precision and order a rifle, correct?
Yep. We do those in Remington 700s. I think we're obviously gonna have the Raven at some point. We do a lot of gunsmithing work on other people's receivers and things like that. So we do pretty much everything. We're kind of a full service shop.
Do you have anything else in pipe wise you guys have coming down that's OEM side that you can talk about?
That we could talk about?
Yeah.
Most of our OEM work is on an NDA.
Right.
We get some cool projects. Trying to think if there's any that we can talk about. Nothing really. You'll see them at some point.
Right.
But I mean, well, I guess if we could talk about the open site project a little bit, that's kind of very infant stages.
Right.
Working on an open site system with you guys.
Right.
I would say that's probably the biggest one.
What's going to come first, the Raven or the open sites?
I hope the Raven, but
Me too.
that open site's going to be cool.
Oh, the open sites will be cool. And it's funny because there's 2 dudes emailed me yesterday and a guy PM'd me today about open sighted 6UMs, all 3 of them. Because it's a great gun for open sight.
Well, that's what we were talking about this in the shop the other day. It's like we're sitting here trying to figure out making a dialable peep. And then realistically, if you're saying, hey, we're going to be a 350 to 400 yard and in open sights anyway, why don't you just take a 6UM sighted in 2 inches high at 100 with open sights and just basically 400 in, put it on fur?
Because I want to shoot them 600 yards.
I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough shot to have that problem.
In the military, when we shot peeps with 223s, 5.56, it's not as bad as people think.
Really?
Yeah. You can get pretty damn accurate to 600 meters with a 223. With a 6UM at 600 meters, it's going to be better.
Yeah,
So
it makes sense.
that's why
There's
I
just
was
going to be
wondering.
less drop.
Yep. Well, is there anything
cool.
else you guys got in the docket or anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, we've talked about it on the other podcasts. I mean, we're in production here. We had a couple hiccups. I think I don't told you about the weather. We had a bad storm here in Western Pennsylvania, and we lost power for 6 days and had some damage done to some machines. And so we've been a little backed up, but we're back up and rolling. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Western PA. Okay.
yeah, I think when you showed up, didn't it snow the first day, and the third day it was like 80 degrees.
Dude, it was like Heckle and Jekyll weather. That's showing my age, Heckle and Jekyll. Do you know who those are, Jake?
Yes.
Tim, do you know who Heckle and Jekyll are?
I have no idea.
That's the age disparate. You're 41. How old are you, Tim?
37.
That's 3-4 years difference. All right, Google Heckle and Jekyll, people. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, it was like freaking snow, and then it was like 85 degrees. It's pretty schizophrenic weather back there.
You're like the wise old man to this group.
I feel fucking old.
Old, at least.
Yeah, pretty soon I'll be 50. You're pretty much dead when you hit 50.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was at I went to orthopedic surgeon yesterday. Let's get my ankle looked at, and I told him, I was like, well, he's like, what are your goals? And I said, well, I want to do some more hiking, get fitter, do all this stuff. And he gets on his computer and he's circling my age. He's like, you're getting up there a little bit. You got to be careful on what you do. Like, you need to do cross training. And he's like, tell me I'm old. I'm like, man, I'm 37 years old. I want to be able to hike and do whatever I can do. He's like, tell me I'm middle aged.
You're advanced age. You better get that walker out.
So I'm really old.
I see you got a one-handed saw there over there.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. So
the Milwaukee one-handed saw.
Yeah, this guy told me. I don't know if you'd mentioned it to me, and this guy the other day brought it back up, and I heard it from somebody else. But he said, yeah, those are totally legal in the wilderness area if you just use one hand.
That's what a lot of the outfitters say in Wyoming.
One-handed saw.
Yeah, that's what. They do like that over there. You miraculously happen to see a lot of logs in the wilderness with chainsaw cuts on them.
A lot of sawdust. It's kind of weird.
Did you ever look at that little silky saw that I sent you?
Yeah, I actually bought one.
Did you? Those things are slick.
Because it's better than I have another little crosscut. I don't know what it is. It has a wooden handle. And me and Nick learned the hard way that it's better just to have a chainsaw.
Yeah. If you're not in the wilderness, the chainsaw is the way to go. But then you got to pack it, on a horse or pack it on a mule, and they're hard to pack.
They are, and in the wilderness they're illegal unless they're one-handed, apparently. Well, where do people stock you at, Tim? How do they find you? They want to order a rifle. They want to get an OEM part made. How did that go down?
We're procisionarms.com. We have a Instagram page. You can kind of find our contact information there. sales@procisionarms.com. We're still in the rifle building game. That's one of the reasons we hired a second gunsmith, was to kind of maintain the builds and keep the lead times down on the builds. And then also, as we expand the OEM, the OEM parts, I mean, that's kind of our goal, but we don't want to, we're not going to leave the custom rifle builds behind, but, we want to kind of get into that, into the OEM parts and marketing variants world. So we're going to keep on with that.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very busy, hopefully fruitful here real soon.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, we already started on a bunch of these projects, and things are going well. So the next one coming up is the Raven. So
I'm excited, but remember what I said.
As soon as you get some metal,
first to me, please.
You'll get 0,000.
Yep, that's all I ask. Just the little things.
Yeah, got to do something.
Tim, thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys here later.
All right, thanks.
Later.
Yeah.
That was good. It was funny when your kids came out, we could see them.
Yeah,
Make sure that downloads all the way because it's not done.